as somebody who was featured on the Sharing Wealth, one of the signatories to the Sharing Wealth, when you hear stories coming out about the richest in New Zealand increasing their wealth from 95 billion to 110 billion, while the poorest are dropping like 30%, what does that make you think and feel?
I feel, I mean, I don't want to sound up myself, but I don't think a lot of these people are very happy, to tell the truth. I think a really good article about how come these people who are super wealthy haven't sort of become really, I've got enough and I want to give back, and like Elon Musk, why are they always turning, some of them actually are turning into greedy psychopaths. I have to say that, some of them, I'm not talking about people in New Zealand, but around the world. Why are they doing this? And the analysis is kind of like an addiction. They're like addicts. To get their dopamine, they have to do more and more outrageous things. They can't sit still, and it's actually, they don't, and horribly, to bloody get their next dopamine hit, they're going to bloody destroy the whole planet just to keep themselves entertained. It's sort of that, it's not rational anymore. It is not good for anyone to be that rich. It's not good for their own, because what I've found of really rich people is everyone around them turns into sort of like, they lose it. They just want to suck up to them, I have to say. And everyone around them is telling them they're wonderful and they're like a god, everyone. And they start believing it. I've seen that a few times. I mean, having said that, there's some really beautiful rich people out there. I'm not generalizing about everyone, but as a trend, it's sort of quite dangerous to get super rich, I think, and keep your sanity and keep your hands on the ground.
Yeah, but Bill Gates is the exception, not the rule, is he? Elon Musk is the rule and what he wants to. And if we think about what we said earlier, if someone has $20 billion with the Mowbray brothers, they've got, and obviously it's not $20 billion in cash, but if they liquefied everything and they had $20 billion in the bank, $1 million a day would last them over 54 years. And when you start thinking about that kind of money, and you just go, and Chewie said this last time. Sorry to steal your question, Chewie. If you had someone in front of you, you'd go, "When is enough enough? When have you got enough? Like when is it enough?
Never.
Yeah,
that's what we've been shown again and again. It's never enough because it's an addiction. They cannot get enough, and I've seen it. I've actually, I've had partners who are billionaires in the States, and he had so much money, but he kept on. How can I get more? How can I get more? It's just, as I said, if you look at it through the lens of addiction, that's a new one for me. It kind of makes sense. They're not at rest. Really, they're not peaceful, and they can't trust anyone. Like this guy, my old partner in the States, he rings me up quite a lot because he actually found me and he pulled me into the States with ecostore, right? So I never sold him anything. He grabbed me, and so I didn't owe him anything. And I used to, like a Kiwi, I used to give him shit all the time, right? He had no one else in his life doing that. No one. And because of that, he's stayed a friend, because he's got no one else. That everyone else tells him he's like a god. Yeah. Everyone else around him.
Yes, man. Yeah, Chewie.
Yeah, I
of course.
Thinking of it like an addiction, that's a really interesting thought. And I think when you were just saying there, Pat, they end up surrounding themselves with yes men, or essentially other addicts. There's no one there that pops their bubble and sort of goes, "Come on, mate.
That's right.
Do you really need more? Do you really need to sit on this mountain of hoarded gold?
That fifth helicopter?
Is this making you happy?" Yeah, it's a really interesting thought.
Yeah,
so
we need to be sending them all along to AA, you reckon?
Yeah, maybe something. There's a BA, Bugger All Billionaires Anonymous, something like that.
How many steps? 12 steps?
Yeah, something like that.